Good afternoon, tubers. Madame Roy back once again, and it will officially be noon in about 1 minute. I'm actually starting this particular live stream a little bit early, give everybody a chance to get here. And for those of you that can't be here, again, you'll watch it later in post production or as YouTube re uploads it later on. This is going to be a what's hot, what's not video. I haven't done one of these not in a long time. Basically, what this is pertaining to is what's hot, what's not in the reselling game this time of the year. Now, for those of you that haven't been with me very long, other than doing my YouTube videos and also being a computer tech, I am also in what we call the reselling gig, which means I buy things at thrift stores, auctions, garage sales, and resell them on all the different platforms. And basically, I add value to it by cleaning them up, fully testing them, making sure that they work. Generally, I stick to electronic or computer-related items, but I'm branching out a little bit from there. And let's see, we got 5 watchers right now. So basically, I want to give you guys an idea of what is selling as we're getting into the back to school fall months, because it is very different than what you can sell during the summer times. And during the summer is usually going to be your most lean period, meaning that you are not going to make a heck of a lot of sales. Sales, for the most part, are extremely slow during the summertime, and that's kind of why I've been down recently, but it happens every single year. Will you make sales during the summer? Yeah, you probably will, but it's going to be on small, very reasonably priced items. To give you a perfect example of that, I was actually selling a lot of video game related stuff over the summer, i.e. Things like Nintendo DS lights, like this one right here, Nintendo Wii's. I know I sold 3 or 4 different Nintendo Wii systems. I sold a bunch of PlayStation 2s. We're talking about older video game stuff, but stuff you can readily find, again, at garage sales, thrift stores, but you want to make sure you properly test them, and I do that for everything that I sell. And most of the time, everything is within the $100 to $200 range. A lot of the video game stuff, to give you an example, like a Nintendo Wii, I'll usually pair with 5 or 6 games, put a few extra controllers, probably a Wii Fit, and maybe even pair it with a little TV if I have an extra one in. I'll usually sell that for about $100 to $120. PlayStation 2s fetch a little bit less, maybe $60 to $80. And that's the kind of stuff that I can generally move during the summer. And really, that's about it. Computers, not so much. I have to stick to very, very reasonably priced bargain basement computer systems, ones in that $100 to $200 range. And a lot of that has to do with the fact most people during the summer are going on vacation, and they just don't have a lot of extra money to play around with. Teachers don't work during the summer, so a lot of times they're not drawing a paycheck unless they have like a 24-month 12-month contract, which they usually don't, at least not in my area. So the summer's almost over. Believe it or not, it is, because when I talk about back to school, kids go back to school as early as the middle of August. So this is the time when parents are looking for those back to school items. So what is selling right now? What is going to be selling within the next couple of weeks that if you have lying around, you should post for sale if you're not going to use them anymore, or if you're doing the same thing I'm doing? What should you be looking for at those thrift stores, garage sales, secondhand shops, wherever you should go, auctions? The number one thing that I sell during back to school time are these right here, and you saw it in the thumbnail. These are those Texas Instruments graphing calculators. Now, this particular one is a TI-83 Plus. Now, these are not as desirable as they used to be. These are kind of getting old school nowadays. They will work for high schoolers still, but people in college are looking more for the newer ones like the TI-86, the TI-89, and things like that. But During this time, you can still sell these for $30 to $40 a piece all day long. And I see these in a thrift store on a regular basis for $4 to $6. So think about it there. You're making like a 300% profit all day long. So this is one item you absolutely want to be picking up this time of year. It's something that is going to sell and sell quickly. Something again that you probably want to avoid this time of year unless you get a really good deal on it are video game stuff. Again, I'm just using this as a what do you call it? A visual aid, let's say. This is the Nintendo DS Lite, but all different types of video game stuff. Systems, games, and things like that this time of year are not going to sell very well because kids, again, are going back to school. They don't have the time to play them. They're trying to get serious about their education, hopefully. So this kind of stuff is not hot. So if we go back to the thing, hot, what's hot and what's not. So hot, not, hot, not, hot, not. Another thing that is going to be a big seller as we push towards August and even more so into September when we see the bulk of the students going back to school, computers. Not just laptops, but desktop computers. This is when I actually make the bulk of my sales, is August into September, because again, kids are going back to school. They need to be able to do their homework. They need to be able to, do projects for school, and they need good, reliable computers. Now, if you go to sell a computer, one of the best things you can do is use that term refurbish. Now, only use this if the computer you're selling is a real refurbished computer, which means you've gone through it, you've physically cleaned it out, you've tested the hardware, upgraded what needed to be upgraded, and reinstalled basically a fresh install of some type of operating system, Windows, Linux, whatever you want to sell with it. Once you've done all those things and basically done your due diligence, made sure that everything is working properly, you can safely call it a refurbished computer. When you go to list those systems, when you put refurbished in there, 9 times out of 10, that is what's going to make that sale, because people want to see that. They want to see that they're not getting Joe Schmo's computer that he took out of service and threw in the closet, and 2 years later decided to list it for sale, and it's still got all this junk on there, including all the viruses that came with it that he got put on it from going to all these stupid websites. So basically, that's another thing that is going to sell very nicely this time of year. Pradkins is here. Dushin Stojmovsky, if I'm pronouncing that right, I hope so, says hello from North Macedonia. Very nice to see some new faces here. Remember, you can always give me a like. Please do. If you're enjoying this video, take a moment and click that like button, because that does help boost my rating in YouTube, and it'll help me be able to give you guys much, much better content. Well, I want to hear from you guys. What is it that, if you're doing the same thing I'm doing, you're in the reselling game, what is it that works for you this time of year? I've given you a couple of options. The calculators, the graphing calculators, basically any type of computer related gear sells very well this time of year. Another thing, and a lot of people don't always think about this, are school supplies. I've never done this myself, but I have several friends that right after back to school, like right around the end of September, beginning of November, will go around to all of the stores. We're talking like in my area, be Office Max, Walmart, Target, all of the major electronics and department stores. And he'll go in when they have the office supplies at in back to school supplies 70 to 80% off, sometimes even more than that, and he'll buy them all out. Now he'll have to hold on to them for a year, but come the following year, he goes ahead and lists those things for sale again on eBay, Facebook virtual marketplace, Craigslist, OfferUp. And he makes a killing because people need this stuff to go back to school. And that's basically the idea. If you can think of something that people need going back to school, then chances are you'll be able to sell that particular item. While I'm waiting for some responses here, another great option is cheap, reliable transportation, i.e., used vehicles. I'm not going to say used cars because it could be an SUV, might be a truck, though chances are an economical little four-cylinder would probably sell best this time of year. And I know a lot of people that do that too. Now, when I don't do that as much, I have flipped cars in the past, and it's been okay. I've never really made any significant profits from doing that. But there are a lot of people this time of year that will augment their car reselling business or used car business. And what they'll do is they'll pick up the cheap, reliable four-cylinder type vehicles, the compacts, the subcompacts, really cheap earlier on in the year. And then this time of year, they actually list them. They'll actually hold on to them for a few months. Then they'll list them around the back to the school time because, again, a lot of the kids, teenagers in high school, college students want these very cheap, very economical vehicles because they don't have a lot of money. You're not, think about it. You're a first time college student, you're going away to college, and oh, wow, they actually let you as a freshman take a vehicle with you. And what are you going to take with you? Are you going to take something like my 96 Chevy Tahoe that gets 12, 13 miles a gallon? Or are you going to take something like a Hyundai Sonata or maybe a little Honda Civic that gets more like 35, 40 miles to the gallon? And I know I'm spitballing here. I will include some domestic cars, the Ford Focus, the Chevy Cobalt, the Ford Fusion. Those are all good options. But again, you just got to play to your audience. Whatever you normally sell, think of something that people going back to school are going to need. So that being said, again, I don't know if the chat window is not working or you guys don't have any ideas, but help me out a little bit. Let me hear from you. Let me give me an idea of the kind of things that you guys would sell during this time of year. And maybe we can have some good ideas and help each other out here. Again, while I'm waiting for some more people to populate the chats, which may not be working. I don't know. I've had issues with this in the recent past. Going back to the computer end of things, you want to stay away from anything high-end, like gaming-related stuff. And that stuff, honestly, doesn't really sell that well during the summer either. The high-end computers, stuff like that, gaming rigs, video editing rigs, I find tend to sell much better in the early months. So we're talking about January, February, March, maybe into April, especially into April, because that's when people get their tax refunds. And after people get their tax refunds, they kind of treat that like a free-for-all to go out and pretty much buy whatever the heck they want to buy. Justin Williams said, this is good, iPads, Chromebooks, and headphones. Yeah, iPads and Chromebooks especially because they're cheap and they can do most everything that a regular computer can. I'm probably going to lean more towards the Chromebooks because Chromebooks can actually run versions of Microsoft Office. So if, let's say, your teenagers or your college students are writing papers in school, they can save it onto a thumb drive and then stick it into their Chromebook and continue to work on it at home. And again, Chromebooks, granted, you can't really run any Microsoft specific apps on there, but you do have the option to run Office. And there are a few other little things. And of course, you have internet access, which now you have things like the online versions of Microsoft Office. Google Documents. You have so many different options there. So yes, Justin, I would definitely say Chromebooks are a great option. And those can be had very cheaply from, again, thrift stores, garage sales, and you can flip them for a decent profit. Headphones, yeah, I could see headphones, maybe like Bluetooth headphones, things like this, because when your student is done working hard for the day, they want to rock out to some of their tunes. So I could definitely see that. Oh, got a call coming through. Sent it to voicemail. I have this thing where you can actually just send them a quick message before you send it to voicemail saying, I'll call you back later. Really nice feature on most cell phones now. So we got 7 watchers and 2 likes. All right. Well, I think I'm actually going to be ending it here if no one else can chime in, because I've pretty much run out of ideas that I know. Typical other things that you can sell, not specific to this time of year, but again, analog media is very hot right now. So VCRs, cassette decks, reel-to-reels, even 8-track systems, all these old vintage analog audio equipment is very hot right now. I've been able to pick up a lot of VCRs at, again, same thing, thrift stores and garage sales for very cheap. And people are willing, especially if they're hi-fi stereo, 4-head VCRs, they are willing to pay up for them, $40, $60. And again, with those, I'll make sure they have the remote with them. Original remote is preferable. User manual, if I can find it and download it, but it's not 100% necessary. But what I'll do is I'll usually pair it with 4 or 5 blank VHS tapes. Same thing if I'm selling a cassette deck, and take nice pictures of it. And again, VCRs $40 to $60 a pop. Dual cassette decks, like for stereos, maybe 30 to 40 on a good day. All this stuff is definitely gaining in value. Oh, we got a few more people coming. Robert Jones says, hello, Matt. How are you? We are discussing what's hot, what's not in terms of reselling for back to school. So, Robert, if you can tell me something that you think will sell well during the back to school and fall months, by all means, give me an idea, because again, I'm starting to run out of ideas right now. But I tell you, you just really have to be smart about it. Keep your eyes open, look at what you can get cheap and what people are actually willing to buy. And it doesn't necessarily have to be used items. It can actually be like new clearance items. Check out the Walmart clearance section. And you can find some really good deals there. And you can actually use the Walmart app to scan for what they call hidden clearance items. And that's something that I've started doing when I go to Walmart. If mom needs to go shopping, I'll go into the clearance aisles and I'll have my phone with me and I'll open up the Walmart app. And it actually has a built-in scanner. And what you do is you literally just scan the barcode, not the actual clearance tag, but the barcode on the item. And you match that price to what the clearance price is. And a lot of times it's actually lower than what it's been clearanced at. I've seen video games that had a clearance price of, say, $10 to $12. And in actuality, they're about half that, $4 or $5. Wireless headsets. Now that is different from headphones. You're talking about like what is it? What's the name of those? Not Plantronics, like the Plantronics headsets, the ones that go in your ears. Yeah, again, all good ideas. Justin Williams, shoes, used science equipment like microscopes. It's funny you should mention shoes. I've actually started a Poshmark account, and I actually listed for the first time some brand new shoes that I picked up from a garage sale about a month ago. Yeah, shoes are great, and honestly, I should have thought about that, but that didn't even come to my mind at first. Shoes are one of those things that you can get readily in, again, thrift stores, garage sales. And a lot of times you can get them new, not necessarily in the box, but new because you see they have the tags on them. Or even if they don't, they could be very, very low hours. In other words, not worn very much. And yeah, people this time of year definitely need clothes in general. So shoes, shirts, pants, slacks, not so much jackets yet, though. As we're going towards the winter months, that's another thing you can think about is winter gear. Jackets, if you live in the Northeast, what do they call them? Snow gear, snow suits, basically those suits that cover you from head to toe. I used to wear them all the time when we lived in upstate New York when I'd go and play out in the snow. All right, tubers, I do need to end the live stream here because I actually have another video planned. I've been promising you guys a video, an Instapot cooking video, and you are going to get one. I have the equipment set up downstairs. So either later on tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, I am going to upload a video, and it's going to be titled something like the best Instapot chicken and rice I've ever had, because we're going to go ahead and give this a try. And hope you guys enjoy the cooking video. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.